These paints are gorgeous and creamy, but I would not choose them to learn traditional watercolor. If you're wondering whether the Kuretake Gansai Tambi 18 color set is worth your money, I'll show you real swatches, a simple apple painting, and a quick colored pencil test so you can see exactly who this set is for and who should probably skip it.
Let's take a peek. Oh, they look beautiful. Oh, yes, and I see there is one cracked, a couple cracks, which aren't an issue. Oh, they really feel smooth and creamy right off the bat. Actually, I should have drawn a line just to see how opaque they are. I'll let that dry. Oh my goodness, yeah, they just reconstitute almost instantly, and they're like, if you play too much with it, it almost feels sticky. They're so smooth. So the first one was red, and now this one is rose madder. The roses usually are more transparent. Pull it out with some water. That's a beautiful color. And this is rose madder deep. It has a really nice consistency. I really like it. And this is cadmium scarlet. Lemon yellow. Yellow ochre. Now the ochres are typically more opaque. Our sap green light. It's a beautiful green. I love the quality of the paint. This now is just sap green. This is hooker's green. Get a little more water. I'm just trying to work it up as best I can. And maybe too, if you gave this a little squirt beforehand, but I don't know. I would think that might just make it too thick. Oh, look at how thick that one is. It'll be interesting to see the drying shift in these. Let's go on to Viridian. Ultramarine blue. I can't wait to try these in a painting, actually. Let's try the turquoise blue. Oh, that's beautiful. They have a sheen to them when they're dry. And we are down to the ultramarine pale, which this just looks like such an interesting color. They're so nice to re-wet. Oh, that's nice. That's nice and thick. Indigo, which should be a beautiful dark. Wow, what a beautiful color. Be interesting to see if the color shift on this. Cobalt violet. Yeah, once you add that water, you can really see the color. Oh, that's beautiful. I'm just trying to build it up some, see if I can get it more opaque. That's one color I've never had on my palette is cobalt violet. In fact, I've never bought it. White, probably not going to show up much, but let's just swatch it and put it over the line. It'll be interesting to paint with these. Black. Yeah, just a dull black. I'm not a big fan of blacks. And our last one is burnt sienna, which is one of my favorite colors. Oh, that's pretty. So we'll let those dry and then we will move on. We're going to do an apple. I thought that might be a good place to start. I'm going to mix up a few colors ahead of time. I'm just going to wet my apple, and I'm going to wet it everywhere except for the little highlight I have drawn on. And I'm using 140-pound cold-pressed Fabriano 100% cotton paper. So I'm just going to wet everywhere except for the stem and the leaf, and of course my highlight. We are going to put some of this, then I'm going to get some of the green. Oh, I'm just going to dab my brush. So we'll see how these mingle too. Maybe put a little bit of green going there. I don't want too much green. Okay, perfect. And you want to just let this go. And I can see I'm starting to dry out on the other side, so I'm going to be very quick about this. You don't want to let something dry out. Mind you, that's a shadow side, so it won't make a huge difference because we'll be putting dark over there. Yeah, we're good there. Okay. A little bit of this dark right here while we're here. Get some of those in. Just fix my edge there. Ooh, that was a little too much. Let's just blot some of that off. Just take a damp brush, pick it up. I'm just going to put a little anyway. Just kind of in through here. And then we have some of this darker red. I have to say it flows really nicely together, and it's not overly active. If you notice where I put the red with the green and the yellow, but I do see where it's a little dry here. So I'm just going to take a damp brush and I'm just going to pick the edge of that up. Let's do a little of this yellowy. So we're going to dry that. And we had a little too much water on the edge. You can see where it pushed back in. One of the biggest things I want to see is I have a nice little soft brush. Let's just make sure it's clean. And I just want to see how easy it is to soften. Oh, gee, wow. Yep, I barely touched it. Blot, look at that. So my ridge is gone there. That's good. I'm gonna get the little stem kind of up to speed as well. I'll just paint that on dry. And we have a little top that's light as well. And we'll let that dry and we'll put some dark on it after. All I'm doing is doing a little bit of negative painting. I'm not coming all the way. I'm kind of leaving the little veins. Oh, not that one. That's okay though. I do want to have it a little more yellow there. Let's drop a little yellow in here. Let's just try to get a little bit. Apple leaves can tend to be pretty bright. I'll just pick some of it back up with my brush. And I'm wiping my brush on a piece of paper towel every time I pick something up, just so I don't deposit it back. And I'm just going for that green. I want to put a little more green in here, but I think I'm going to mark my red out first. So it kind of comes up and out. And this one. And of course, this is darker here. Now I'm just going to come and I'm going to try to glaze with them and see how they work for glazing. We know they work nice dropping in. So right off the bat, I am disturbing the paint underneath. That says something right there. Get a little lighter there. Let's just try some darker. I might have to just kind of re-wet sections and then drop in. Okay, so definitely we have some dark here on the side. Kind of go with the shape. And we have a nice bright red, even a duller sort of orangey red here. Oh yeah, let's pull this out. And we have some of this dark actually back in behind here. Oh, that's really dark. And we have some dark up here. It does stay wet fairly long, which is nice. Okay, this is where I kind of want to make the shape a little better. Because of course, it's not going to be perfect. It's going to kind of merge and blend, because that's how it grew. There's a little light spot right at the top of that, so I'm gonna leave that like that. Some more of this green, kind of comes around there. There's a little bit in there. See, it's pushing the stuff that's starting to dry, so I am gonna dry that with a hairdryer. This may not be that great of a paint for glazing, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be. What we can do is just wet sections and add this in, because this dark has kind of just gone away. I'm going to try to add it back first and see if we can have any success. Yeah, I can actually see the different, you can see where it overlapped a little. Yeah, this paint, and it probably has to do with why it reconstitutes so nicely too, just even on the paper. And this is good cotton paper, so, but that's okay because not all paints are made to be used layering. Okay, so let's just see if I can pull this. Let me grab a little more of the dark. I'm gonna add a little black into my brown. So let's just bring this down, and I'm just softening that edge. Drop a little more dark down there. Let's just pull some of that out. Not too much water. There, that's better, and we'll put some really dark at the end. I'm starting to see the shine. I don't think necessarily the shiny thing's a bad thing. So when it's sitting, actually that would kind of go in because the apple would cover that. It's going to have a little dark shadow, and then it's going to kind of come out. We'll put the very, very dark one in at the very end. I do like them, even though they're not behaving the way I'm used to painting. Right down here at our little base of our stem, we're going to have some dark, and it kind of comes up out of the little hole, and then we're going to just give it a little wet. So yeah, so where it's thick here, not loving that just because it's shiny, but I'm not used to that either. Get a duller green. They do mix up pretty thick, and it might be better maybe to use more water with them. I just added more water with that. Let me pull some of this purple. Just make it a little more interesting. Okay, that looks a little better. Okay, I'm gonna try and do this without disturbing it too much. Just where it starts to turn, and I will soften that a little. I need a brighter red to go right here. Oh, that's too thick. Okay, and I do have to pull that out some because I don't want it to sit and look harsh against that. Okay, I'm going to let that dry because I don't want to blow dry this. I want to see what happens when I leave it alone. So I let that dry, and as you can see,
I have quite a line there. So the first thing I'm going to do is just try to soften that line. I'm going to just kind of re-wet this. And this really, it's like the paint, it reconstitutes very fast, you can see, and I'm barely touching it. So I'm just going to try to lightly redistribute it and see if I can get rid of those lines. Rinse, get the water off. And all I'm going to do, don't go back in the part that's wet because you'll actually start picking the paint up if you have a damp brush. I'm just going to kind of touch the edges. Oh yeah, you can really reconstitute this. Just this little line here kind of it's not blended well. There we go. We just didn't want that white line there. So again, I just barely touched it. Oh yeah, see, I can already see it. So see where the water, I put the water, it's causing a line there as well. I'm gonna actually just take my damp brush. Oh yeah, so see, look, it picks up so easy. So I'm just going to just dampen this as well and redistribute it a little, just so we don't end up with that really dark line. And I actually don't like where I picked it up there, so I'm gonna take some of my purple, and all I'm gonna do, look, I'm just depositing paint. Boop, boop. Just load it up with some paint and just touch it and let it release. That'll take away that white mark that I caused. And I'm going to dry that. So let's grab some nice fresh red. Let's get lots of water. A darker one here, so I'll add some dark thereafter. Maybe 1 or 2 there. Maybe some really light right here. Just gonna dab that. Don't want my highlight to get too red. And I'm going to get some water. And I'm just going to soften this one out so it kind of blends in with the green. This is where we're going to test out the white. So there's like a pink. Let's try that. Now, let's see what happens when we soften that white out. These definitely have a nice quality to them. So let's take this nice light green and just add a little white. Yeah, really makes them way more opaque. And let's just give it a little more highlight. And I'm going to test too once we're done this and see how the colored pencils and stuff go over top. So I'm going to try and lighten up some areas. And I love colored pencil with watercolor. Oh yeah, see, that's so nice. It just helps give it a little texture. You could also use a watercolor pencil or an Inktense if you want it to kind of smooth that texture out. Okay, let's see if we can brighten up some of this because this is quite bright here. The colored pencil goes so nice over top of this. I love it. And I'm just lightly, just putting a little bit of light on. I just want to get some highlight there. If you want mostly vibrant, creamy paints for sketchbooks and relaxing, low pressure sessions, the Kuretake Gansai Tambi set is really a fun choice. They also work exceptionally well with colored pencils for mixed media, adding another layer of versatility. And just a quick note, some of these colors are light fast, but a lot of them are not. But if you're serious about learning traditional transparent watercolor, layering, glazing, or wet and wet techniques, I'd skip these and go for a more classic watercolor set instead. These paints re-wet so easily that layering can be tricky, and colors don't blend well in wet applications. If you're in that skip group, watch this next video where I test a more traditional beginner-friendly set and show you how it actually layers.